Junzo Kokubo immigrated to North America in 1981 and became one of the first Japanese acupuncturists to practice in Toronto. In China, acupuncture is called Cha Zen, which means to stick a needle. I've always wanted to find out more, but I had to find out first if these things hurt.
No, acupuncture doesn't hurt, as long as you are in the hand of a well-trained acupuncturist. First of all, the acupuncture needle is very thin and smooth. Here are the samples of Chinese needles, and this is Japanese needles. As you can see, there's a quite difference. Japanese needle is much shorter and finer than Chinese needle. This is a guide tube, we call. The reason why we have to use guide tube is because of such a thin needle, we have to use guide tube to prevent its bending when inserting the needle.
Can you describe acupuncture?
Acupuncture is a medical treatment that developed in ancient China about 2,000 years ago, and eventually it spread to other Asian countries like Korea and Japan. In treatment, usually the needle is inserted or heat is applied on a specific point on the skin or the surface of the body. These points are called the acupuncture point, which is supposed to be the spot where you try to regulate the energy flow. We call that energy is qi or qi. And then when the energy is flowing constantly or smoothly, you are fine, but you're healthy. And if you have the stagnation or blockage of energy flow, then you have a health problem. So acupuncture point is a spot where you try to regulate that energy flow by using or inserting needles or applying heat.
Martine Lamy is a principal dancer with the National Ballet of Canada. She visits Dr. Kokubo regularly for treatment of injuries related to her work.
Well, I remember when I first came and with this tendon problem,
yes.
That's all fine now. It's really not a problem at all. What I find more and more, though, is that because of the point shoes, that this bone is getting arthritic. I'm pretty sure of it. So I'm going to use a spacer to try to keep it in place, but if you could take a look at this area, it feels quite hot.
Now, how do you make a diagnosis?
Well, usually acupuncturists try to use 4 basic diagnostic techniques. One is questioning. The second is listening to say your voice or the tone of the voice. And then third is the palpation, that is touching your body. So with fingers, so you try to detect certain abnormal muscle tones, those things. And fourth is smelling. Certain smell can tell you what kind of problem the person has. Now I try to treat your specific problem you complain about. So the blood flow gets better, and then the injured part in your case, the tissues can get more supply of blood, so it accelerates the healing process there.
Right.
This meridian is called the gallbladder meridian. Meridian is invisible energy path. If there's the stagnation or energy flow or blockage, you have problems. So what we try to do is to restore that energy flow through the meridian. This area is a bit sensitive, so you might feel more, okay?
Yeah, it was a little sting. Not bearable.
The toe area is so much nerve ending is concentrated.
Right. But I do so much, so much abuse to my feet with the ballet shoes anyway that I think I can take a few pinpricks.
Okay, now I give a bit Moxa on here, okay? Here is Moxa. It's a spongy, fluffy stuff made from mugwort leaves. And they usually, I make a tiny cone like this by rolling between thumb and forefinger. And then place this on the acupuncture point and then ignite with the incense. And then just before it burned down completely to the skin, I just squeezed away. So the patient feels a really comfortable sensation of heat. And this is excellent for blood circulation.
Hot?
Not much.
Okay.
What are some of the conditions that acupuncture is specifically used for?
People tend to think acupuncture is excellent for only pain relief, but it does much more than that. So many different types of ailments I treat. For example, migraine headache, stiff neck and shoulders, arthritis or tennis elbow, and then internal organs like common cold or asthma, and digestive problem like constipation or diarrhea.
Well, I really appreciate the fact that, as scary as it seems, that it doesn't hurt, you know, because it is really beneficial, and it's not painful, which is hard to imagine with those needles sticking in, but it's such a great treatment.